Hey there, gaming veterans and newcomers alike. Welcome back to the Veteran Game channel, where today, we're going to sneak our way into the phenomenal success story of a small indie game called Among Us. Yes, folks, it's the little game that could, and indeed it did, but only after 2 whole years of lying low. Talk about playing the long game. Back in 2018, an unassuming game crept its way onto digital shelves, developed by the 3-person team at InnerSloth. It was a quirky multiplayer game about teamwork, betrayal, and trying not to get murdered by your friends in the cold vacuum of space. That game was Among Us, and it launched with more of a whisper than a bang. Fast forward 2 years later, and the whisper turned into an ear-splitting sonic boom, heard all over the gaming world. So, how did this happen? Among Us follows a crew of colorful little astronauts on a spaceship, with some of them doubling as imposters whose goal is to eliminate the crew without getting caught. The non-imposters, meanwhile, must complete tasks and, using their best detective skills, figure out who among them is the killer. Sounds simple enough, right? And yet, the game's genius lies in its simplicity. It turns out there's nothing quite like the thrill of catching a friend in a lie or the sweet satisfaction of duping your buddies as an imposter. Who knew? The funny thing about Among Us, though, is that it was drifting through the gaming cosmos for 2 years before it really took off. Despite positive reviews, the game didn't quite manage to reach a broad audience. However, like any good imposter, Among Us was patient. It waited. It plotted. And then, it struck when the time was right. In the summer of 2020, when everyone was looking for ways to connect and have fun amidst the pandemic isolation, Among Us found its moment. A couple of high-profile streamers discovered the game, and suddenly, Among Us was everywhere. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. The game exploded in popularity seemingly overnight, 2 years after its initial launch. The sleeper hit had finally awoken. And what a wake-up it was. By November 2020, Among Us was downloaded over 500 million times, becoming the most downloaded mobile game of that year. It was so popular that InnerSloth even cancelled a planned sequel to focus on updating the original game. And the reasons for its success? Well, they're as multicolored as the game's characters. Firstly, Among Us is a social game at its heart. It's about talking, arguing, and laughing together. In a year where social interactions were hard to come by, Among Us offered an excellent way for friends to gather and have fun. Secondly, it's accessible. The game is easy to understand, and the controls are simple. You can play it on PC or mobile, and it's inexpensive. This made it the perfect pickup for casual players and hardcore gamers alike. Thirdly, Among Us is perfect for streaming. The suspense, the accusations, the betrayal, it's all entertainment gold. And when streamers started playing, the game's popularity snowballed. Finally, there's something to be said about the game's charm. The design is endearing and humorous, from the cute little astronauts to the hilarious emergency meeting interruptions and the tongue-in-cheek death animations. The story of Among Us shows that it's not always about being the biggest or the flashiest game on the block. Sometimes, it's about waiting for your moment and seizing it when it comes. It's about having a game that brings people together, makes them laugh, scream, and maybe even yell at each other a little. To wrap things up, Among Us took a stealthy, imposter-like route to success, hiding in plain sight for 2 years before striking it big. It's a testament to the power of good game design, community, and the perfect dash of timing. And above all, it goes to show that in the gaming world, patience can indeed be a virtue. So, there you have it, folks. The rise of Among Us might have been unexpected, but it's a clear reminder that in gaming, you can never predict what the next big thing will be. And remember, the next time you're playing, watch out for those vents, and each other. Keep gaming, and remember, trust no one. Well, except for me. You can trust me. I'm definitely not the imposter. Or am I? Until next time, fellow gamers. Stay suspicious, stay safe, and keep on gaming.